Good day and happy Friday, Hash fans. Welcome to the show today. I'm Zach Seward. We got Will Foxley. We got Jen Sanasi. We got Naomi Brockwell. We got all sorts of things going on. But first of all, we're going to talk about the market tanking. Whoo-wee. Will, what's going on out there?
There's some really bad stuff happening out there. That's what I will tell you. I saw that Bitcoin dropped around 38K last night. Still there. We're still at 38K. Ethereum, second largest crypto asset, dropped even below 3,000. I think it's hovering around like 2,800. Nailed it. Right. Look at that. 2,800. We're in a bad territory right now for Bitcoin. We're in bad territory for all crypto assets, which is a nice kind of point to bring up. Omkar Goble, markets analyst at CoinDesk, brought up this morning in an article. You should definitely go check it out. All of these tokens and cryptocurrencies are tied to securities. They're just trading with where the equity markets are trading. Doesn't matter what you are. You might claim to be Bitcoin, the future money of the internet. You might be Ethereum, smart contract platform. Doesn't matter where the S&P is going. Your token is also going. So we saw a lot of frustration, a lot of liquidations also out there. I forget what the largest number was. I think it was Binance had like over $150 million in liquidations from traders, which is a lot of capital getting cleaned off the shelf and into CZ's hands. Zach, I want to throw this one up to you. What was your takeaway? A lot of people are saying, hey, bear market's here, time to biddle. What's your take?
Well, yeah, I mean, crypto remains highly volatile. I think the interesting thing is, again, that mirroring, like the mirroring of crypto to traditional equities, I think is really interesting, right? Like there's been all this theorizing over time that this was something that didn't respond in kind the way other things did in the market, but we're seeing that it's sort of behaving just like other stuff in the market. And I think that's interesting to me. I don't know if it's time to biddle. I mean, it's always time to biddle, but I don't know if it's going to be like an extended bear market like we saw last time around. This could be it. That would be that. But I don't know. It's like also like the conditions in which Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies exist now is far different from the last time we saw a crypto winter through 2019 and into 2020. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out, whether or not this is a temporary blip or whether we are in biddle season, time to hunker down and stay warm. So I don't know. We'll see. Interesting to see all these things fall together as opposed to falling separately. And it's going to be interesting to see if like one or some of these assets can defeat sort of the macro forces at play. But I saw Will and I saw Jen. I don't know who was first, but I'm going to go with Jen.
No, Will was first. Take it away, Will.
Oh, dang it. I got it wrong. All right, Will. You.
Well, actually, Jen should go first because I have a question for everybody, but I want to hear Jen's thoughts before I ask that question. So Jen, please take the stage.
Had a question. Okay, so my question was directed at Naomi and she just put her hand up. A lot of the mainstream articles that were unpacking this story this morning were pointing to regulation in China and regulation in Russia as one of the reasons why the crypto market is on a downturn. And for new people to the space, should they be worried? I mean, we always talk about governments not being able to outban crypto, but with China and Russia, should new people to the space be worried that governments banning crypto are going to send the price going down and essentially make them lose money because they probably bought when the price is much higher than it is today?
And one thing I will say is that if anyone is saying that governments can't ban crypto, they're completely false. The government can absolutely ban crypto. The government can absolutely ban Bitcoin. The US government can absolutely ban Bitcoin. All of these things are absolutely on the table. So anyone saying otherwise is crazy. What people say is that it can't be stopped. So even if governments put out bans, this is a borderless innovation. This has no barriers to entry. This is very difficult to enforce any sort of ban. So it's not that the government can't put out an edict. It's how are they going to enforce it when it's very difficult to monitor what code someone is running on their computer. So the idea behind Bitcoin is that it can't be stopped. It's this decentralized phenomenon. Even if an entire jurisdiction like China shuts it down, first of all, people are still flying under the radar in China and still putting their money into this asset. But also, you just see it migrate across the globe. I mean, if there was some sort of some sort of coordinated effort across the globe where every single jurisdiction in the entire world said, we ban this, first of all, I would be like, wow, that's the first time we've ever come together on anything. We have Russia and China and the US and, Liechtenstein, they all agree on the same thing. Like, first of all, it's completely unfeasible that that's ever going to happen. And even if it did, you can't stop these people running code on their computer. But I will say that, I interviewed Miyataki recently, who's an OG in the space, who said that this period of consolidation is really a great thing for crypto, because we've seen this narrative in crypto shift over the last few years with more institutional mainstream players coming into the fold. And they've changed the narrative around crypto from being something about financial revolution to something that, let's absorb it into the existing system. Let's take all of the bite out of it. Let's KYC everything. He says that the consolidation phase is actually great because it gets rid of all the fluff in the movement, and we just see the people who really believe in it, who believe in the power of it and the freedom that it enables sticking around. It's exactly the same conversation that I actually had at the Coin Congress conference with Brock Pierce in 2015. So the price of Bitcoin, we'd come down from the $1,000 high. It'd been sitting at like $200, $300. And we're like, wow, is this the end of everything? We've seen this giant bubble. And made the same point then. It was such a great conference because like hardly anyone attended. I emceed that conference and it was just so sparsely populated because all the fluff had disappeared. The exuberance that came around with the 2013 spike to $1,000, that had all left. And it was the people who were saying, okay, back to core ideals. Why are we in this game? It's because we believe in the power of this. It is the first decentralized money in existence. This has real promise, and we believe that this is going to empower a huge swath of people across the globe. It's exactly the same situation now, only now we've brought into the fold of people who are sticking around so many more people, and the price is at $38,000, like $200 compared to $38. I don't think we should be sad at the moment. If you got in late, if you got in like $60,000, I don't think you should be sad either. I think that decentralized money has such promise, and we haven't even begun to see the potential of this realized. But I will throw this to you, Will, for your thoughts.
Really quick, Control, before we move on, I want to ask everyone a question. If we are in biddle season, what are you going to do? What are you going to do during a bear market? Zach, editing?
I'm going to cover the news like I do through, it's how we do it. We cover the news through thick and thin. We were here during the last crypto winter, man. There was tons of good stories to tell. So I ain't sweating it.
Okay, Naomi? Oh,
yeah, I'm going to keep covering the news. I'm following Zach. We here for the long term. We're letting people know what's going on and why they should still be excited about all the incredible innovation that's going on. That innovation hasn't stopped. Sorry, Jen.
Buy low, sell high. I'm going to take a line from Control. No, I'm following Zach and Naomi. I'm going to continue covering the news. What is there to do, Will? Wow. What are you going to do?
Will's getting a new hobby. He's going to do like a workout regimen or something.
I'm going to rage quit. I'm going to rage quit and go move to Puerto Rico.
Out of here. Will's out of here.
Become a bum. Sorry. See you guys later.
All right, let's change gears here.
Good knowing you, Will.
Let's change gears. It's been real, Will. It's been real. All right, cool. We're going to talk about Telegram stuff. Toncoin. Definitely wasn't on my radar that this thing was going to be back from the dead, but it is back from the dead. It's like quietly back from the dead. This is the project that famously raised a bunch of money. I think it was like 1.3, 1.7 billion back in the last mania. Telegram raised a bunch of money to make the Telegram open network ton. They got in a big beef with US regulators and they said, all right, we give up, uncle. Project's dead. It's done. But it being open source code, it lived on in some form. And now we're seeing some interesting momentum emerge around it, including some hiring plans and talk of this coin being integrated into the Telegram messaging app. So interesting comeback story. Now we have this headline about Telegram. So open source blockchain stuff, Telegram back from the dead, ton lives on. And we're going to talk about Pavel Durov later, but I'm not going to spoil it just yet. All right. Anyway, Will, did you expect this? Did you expect to see like momentum around this project after they famously shut it down after being, hit with regulation stuff? Like what's going on? What's happening?
I'll take it a slightly different direction. I thought they would actually fight the SEC a little bit more than they did. And I thought they were going to launch the token regardless of what the SEC wanted. But apparently they're kind of playing it safe because they don't want to go to jail or get fined by the SEC, which apparently is now also a worldwide governing body and not just for the US. I digress, though. I don't really know what's going on with the Ton ecosystem. I saw that Pavel, he has like that group chat on Telegram, which I think most people who use Telegram are in it. And he talked about why the Ton ecosystem, or Ton ecosystem, I don't know how you pronounce it necessarily here, how they're still using it and how they kind of, because it's open source, they launched a token, and this whole ecosystem is growing out of what the foundation was doing in the first place. And it did catch me by surprise that they were choosing to do that, but it's very on brand with crypto, where you have this permissionless creation where everything's open source, so anyone can create their own client, they can launch their own node, they can run their own coin if they want to. The question now is, can you get people to buy into the ecosystem? And if they somehow can manage to get this token integrated with Telegram itself, then that would necessarily have some sort of use case that a lot of other projects don't. And it would be kind of in a nice spot because it would absolve the founders a ton of having to be interacting with it at all. There couldn't really be those questions around pre-mines or if the tokenomics are in favor of the people who created Telegram. So definitely something to watch, I'd say, and something that most people had kind of hand-waved away. Naming, I'll throw it up to you.
Actually, I saw Jen's hand go first, so I'll throw it to her, then I'll chime in.
And here it is again. I was like, I had my hand up. So when I read the story, I was like, oh, all of these messaging service payment systems are like coming back from the dead. And I immediately
Okay, well, Jen, it was not meant to be.
Oh my God,
no one wanted to
she got
hear
froze.
that point, so I just cut that off. I was just like, I'm going to freeze. No, totally didn't happen. But I will chime in.
Honestly.
So a couple of things here. I agree with Will when he says that this is totally in line with the crypto ethos, where you have these permissionless systems and anyone can fork code, anyone can do anything. You know, you had Steemit create this code base, and then it was all bought and owned by Justin Sun. Suddenly the entire community is like, nah, we're just going to fork that and we're going to create Hive. It just happens over and over again, and it's really cool to see that sort of game theory play out. So a couple of things about Toncoin re-emerging. First of all, it just goes to show you how little power the SEC has. I know that they're out there fighting crypto, and they are destroying all of this like amazing capital that's being raised centrally by entities that I think are doing really good stuff to pull resources and attract good developers. And the SEC is really thwarting that and pushing it offshore so that it's not even coming to the United States. But they can't shut these projects down. And Toncoin kind of proves that. The fact that they preemptively shut this down before Toncoin had even been released. And they said, no, this is securities. You have to pay back all of your investors, yada, yada. And so Telegram was like, okay, we're not touching this. And then the ecosystem was like, yeah, but we still want a payment option inside Telegram. So we're just going to do this thing and make it compatible. You could just integrate it, okay? And that's what they're doing right now, which is kind of cool. And you've had the CEO kind of give his blessing and say, yes, we anoint you. You can be part of our ecosystem. And so it's thank you, Will, for the solidarity there. So the other thing I do want to mention, and it's just a little bit of a PSA for our viewers who view Telegram as this wonderful bastion of privacy and encrypted chat. So Toncoin is not private, and it's really sad to see a platform that is supposedly all about privacy. First of all, not even encrypting messages by default. You have to go into the settings and create specific chats to access that. No group chats are encrypted by default. And Toncoin has no privacy protections written into it at all. Now, it's not that the community decided, oh, well, we're just going to go with this. Like, the original code was created by Telegram. This was forked, and Telegram put no privacy protections in there. So be really careful of the platform that propagates this myth that it's all about privacy and supporting viewers. They're also using some crazy encryption, home-baked encryption protocol, MT-Proto, which a lot of cryptographic experts have looked at and been like, why are they using this strange cryptographic standard that has never been tested? So just a lot of caveats there. Just want to give the audience a PSA. If you're looking for a private messaging app, I would go the direction of Signal. There are some offshoots of Signal as well as like Session. There are all these interesting things out there. Telegram is not something I would uphold as a bastion of privacy protection. So just wanted to mention that, but I'll throw it back to you, Will.
No, you nailed it. That was something that was kind of new to me as well, because you can obviously get into like private channels and chats in Telegram where you kind of open up like the private messaging part of it, but it's not by default, which changes it a lot from Signal, which has a lot better privacy. I will say that Telegram just has a better UI and UX, and so everybody uses it. They've onboarded so many people so quickly. But you're totally right. Everything's in plain text on a server somewhere, who knows where, maybe in Russia. And that's not great. But it's hard to get people to change their habits. It really is. Like, I know that, and I still put things on Telegram I should not be putting on Telegram. And I'm curious to see what happens going forward with all the monetary incentives that are built around Telegram, and especially if a token gets involved, and then how that data is protected going forward, because all the money kind of gets mixed in with that. But we can leave that there, and I think we're going to break. Maybe Jen will join us again. Who knows?
We're going to go to break, and we're going to see if Jen is going to get back on the show, because there's some difficulties. We're going to see what happens. But when we come back, we're going to wish that Jen is here, and we are going to talk about the hexagon, NFT, Twitter verification, and a whole bunch of backlash to it. It's The Hash. Stick with us. Happy Friday.
Hi, I'm Christine Lee, host of First Mover and all about Bitcoin. You're watching CoinDesk TV.
Jen's not back.
Oh, wait. So I got so confused there. I thought that we were going straight into the NFT story with ZACK, but we are not. So we are going to go and talk about PlayStation. So the PlayStation creator, Ken Kutaragi, and I hope that I pronounced that correctly, he equates Metaverse to nothing more than an anonymous message board. He gave an interview recently with Bloomberg. He said that the metaverse is isolating. He said that VR headsets are annoying. He said that being in the real world is very important, but the metaverse is about making quasi-real in the virtual world. And I can't see the point of doing that. He said you would rather be a polished avatar instead of your real self. That's essentially no different from anonymous message board sites. I have so much to say about this. First of all, does he realize how popular anonymous message board sites are? Anyway, a lot to dig into here. I'm going to throw it to the group. Will, I'll start off with you for your thoughts.
Yes, and this is a great time for me to air my own personal concerns about the metaverse. So you guys are going to have to bear with me during it. The thing that doesn't make sense to me about gaming in the metaverse and VR land is the games people want to play are really interactive. Like think Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, those kind of games, League of Legends, really, really interactive. And how do you do that in VR land, like around your kitchen table or in your apartment, and you're not bumping into things? So that's like my own complaint about metaverse, and I'll kind of go back to the story. And if you guys have thoughts on that, I'd be interested to get them, because I don't really understand it.
I want to go in on that. But I want to go in on that.
Let's hear it.
All right, so this is this definitional muddle that happens around metaverse, right? Metaverse doesn't equal VR. VR doesn't equal metaverse. It's all these other things. It's like, I hate it. It's crazy. So it doesn't have to be virtual. Like you go to Decentraland or whatever, it's just browser based. You like putz around. And the beauty of these like open metaverses, I think, is that these are like sticky experiences in which you can get ownable and therefore sellable assets based on the amount of time and energy you put into these spaces. So I think PlayStation guy here is talking about the Facebook vision for the metaverse, which is highly linked to VR because they own Oculus. So clearly they want that to be a more VR experience. But there are plenty of open metaverses that exist and are used currently that have nothing to do with VR. So we need to like start thinking about some new words for this stuff, because everyone is just talking past each other because they're using the same word to describe like 6 different things. And it's just annoying to me. Just the words, man.
Really quick.
I'm a word guy. All right.
Really quick before I hand it off to Naomi, that's a really good point, because I was looking at this headline and it was from the creator of PlayStation. What do you play on a PlayStation? You play World of Warcraft. I think that's a computer-based game, but you do play things like Call of Duty. I don't really understand how the metaverse and those kind of games interact. And maybe that's his question as well. But you do bring up a good point that a lot of stuff is browser-based and it's a little bit different than the vision that Facebook has created with the Oculus. But Naomi, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I disagree with both of you. So first of all,
Oh, no.
metaverse, literally a phrase coined
Watch
by
out.
Neil Stephenson, right? And Snow Crash. How does he define metaverse? Because that should be a pretty good indication for what metaverse is. Now, the metaverse is some sort of Will shakes his head. He literally invented the term, Will. So let's give him some credit there and kind of look at what he created. So it was this world where you plug into these headsets and you're in this realm and you interact with people, and it's really cool. It's not unlike, Matrix. It's not unlike Sword Art Online. It's not unlike a lot of these iterations we've seen in pop culture since then. The problem is that we haven't had technology that's been good enough to get us there yet. So we've been getting there in iterative stages, which I think is where the confusion comes from. We started off just being able to do I'm going to write text, literally lines of text telling the computer what my character is doing. Like Naomi then jumps on the spot, enter, and that was this interactive gaming world. And then we got visuals incorporated into computers. And then we got to this crazy world where we had all these different controllers, and we had now we have headsets, and it's all immersive, but it is really building up to this world where we have this other verse. It is interactive and online, and the technology is just getting better for how we interact with it. So I think that, you guys clearly don't have an Oculus, but there are lots of really fun games that are very popular there. There's this zombie game.
I do have an Oculus.
You do? All right. Well, there's this zombie game that's kind of this fighting world. Okay, guys, have you got a recent version of an Oculus? Because it's it's pretty cool technology and awesome.
I'm gonna set the record straight. CoinDesk bought all of us Oculuses to have a virtual offsite 2 years ago. That's how early we are at CoinDesk.com. They're here, Naomi. We're sending you these headsets, and we're gonna have what we called the virtual Mohonk, because we used to have an IRL.
And I got virtually ill.
Yeah.
And physically ill from it.
Yes.
Well,
I haven't used it since then.
A lot better.
That's the facts.
The nausea is definitely an issue that people have, and it's getting better. I won't say that this technology is perfect. I won't say that yes, this is the future, but I think it's crazy for Ken to completely disregard it, because clearly we are looking for more interactive, immersive experiences online. It wasn't enough for us to just be typing plain text into games. We had to add images to that. We had to add this interactive component, and actually being in a world where you turn your head and you could see all of these things, you see people coming at you, that's pretty cool. I think it's crazy that he's completely discounting that, and I wonder whether it's because PlayStation just hasn't bought into this technology. He's like, well, we're not doing it, and it's dumb anyway. This is a real movement that's going on, and I think that the technology is going to continue to advance and may even end up with projections, holographic projections around a room. There could be all kinds of directions that this metaverse world could go in, but it's definitely interesting. And Zach, I'll throw it back to you.
All right, I'll wrap it. I did go to the Australian Open in the metaverse the other day, and it was pretty cool because I went on a tennis racket scavenger
boycott
hunt,
that,
and I got
because Australia bumps a dumb
POAP. All right, anyway,
much to say about
Australia.
that topic.
Shout out to Australia. Here we go. All right, Jen has been deplatformed from this show. Sorry, Jen. She's not coming back. This just in. Jen gone. But I'm going to take Jen's story. I'm going to introduce it, and we'll talk about it from here. All right. Yesterday, Twitter said that they're going to roll out NFT verification for profile pictures. All right. For now, it starts with Twitter Blue, which is pretty funny because you have to pay $3 a month to have this service. But there may be other plans to expand it in the near future. So the idea here is, hey, you got all these NFTs, and you've been using them as your profile pic, but there should be a way to quickly signify that you actually own the thing that you're claiming to own. So Twitter said, all right, we're going to make you a hexagon profile picture outline rather than a circle. And that was rolled out yesterday afternoon, and people had lots of opinions about it. Lots of interesting stuff. I guess we'll start with the technology itself, and I'll throw it to Will. What do you make of this development here?
That video we just saw was a little cringy, but obviously, this is a huge deal for the NFT community. This is what they've been wanting for so long. And it is cool to see people who've been in the space for a while and been working on NFTs and wallets have a win like this. I know some people from Rainbow.me or Dharma or other wallets in the space have been thinking about these things for years. No one thought this stuff was going to take off. And now Twitter has integrated it into the mainstream. And, we're talking about it on the show. So that's a pretty big deal. In terms of NFT stuff, one thing I don't quite get, and Zach, maybe you can illuminate me on this topic.
All right, hit me.
Is it seems to be like only some NFTs from verified, whatever that means, NFT packages are like allowed onto this system. So I'm not quite sure how it works in that sense.
Cool. Well, first of all, it's only Ethereum NFTs right now. I don't know if it's verified collections or if it's something else, but I do know that this is powered through an OpenSea API, right? So OpenSea, valued at $13 billion. It's the big NFT marketplace giant. That's the back end for how this works. So I'd imagine that it might have something to do with verified collections on OpenSea are the ones that you can then verify on your Twitter profile, but I'm not sure. But I do know that OpenSea is on the back end of this thing, which also speaks to OpenSea, like getting a big win here in terms of sort of this Web 2.5 moment where these tech stacks are interacting with each other. So that's all I have for that. But I know Naomi had her hand up.
Yeah, so it's an interesting situation. There's been a lot of pushback because they're using the OpenSea API. It kind of goes back to what Moxie was saying about the lack of decentralization in this space. It doesn't matter if your NFT is in your wallet. It doesn't matter if the NFT is on the blockchain. If OpenSea has decided to, take it off the platform or make it not visible or whatever, for whatever reason, you can no longer access that if you're using Twitter. Also, you can no longer access that if you're using your MetaMask wallet. You can no longer access that if you're using almost any software to interact with this, because most software doesn't interact with the blockchain itself. It interacts with APIs like the one that OpenSea created. So it is interesting to see them integrating this verification through OpenSea rather than verifying themselves, but it makes sense that they wouldn't want to do it themselves because Twitter is not known for having good verification. It's not known for being able to stop scammers. It's not known for stopping itself being hacked. Like, I do have a lot of questions about security on here. If you're linking your Ethereum address, you're proving that that address is yours. I mean, like, they notoriously got hacked last year where someone just had God mode to all of the accounts and could just go into those people's accounts and tweet what they want. Like, now we're linking our Ethereum wallets to this. I have so many questions about whether that is safe and secure and how that all works and what permissions Twitter actually has. I haven't actually seen a rundown of the permissions that they give Twitter in order to access this wallet and link this wallet. So yeah, move slowly into this world. It is only available for people who are Twitter Blue subscribers at the moment. So you're paying like a monthly fee to have perks such as an undo button. Sorry, it just makes me giggle. That's like a perk people would pay for. Anyway, so if you're using that, you can have access to this thing. I mean, I wouldn't mind playing around with it. It's like a cool idea. It's cool that Twitter, such a popular, large platform, is integrating more of the crypto world. People are saying, oh, it's the antithesis of Jack. He was a Bitcoin maxi, but actually they were talking about adding NFTs to profile pictures when ZACK was actually there. So I don't think it's correct to say that this is the antithesis of what he would want. This is something that I think that he was vying for. But yeah, interesting. You guys going to be adding NFT profile pics? No,
I'm not going to be doing that. No, not going to be doing that. First of all, I'm not a Twitter Blue user. So yeah, I don't have access to that. And second of all, I wouldn't do it. But anyway, it's just me. Did you know that Jen is now just in the comments, by the way? I just opened the YouTube. She's been migrated to the comments. So she's a hero right now.
She has comments to add. She said
she's among
the music in the video was insane. She said that we won't let her back in. She said
she doesn't deserve that.
Hang there.
Fix your internet, Jen.
Yeah, fix your internet, Jen. We love you. No, we miss you.
Amazing.
I'm stuck here with Zach and Will, and
these losers
without you.
Yeah,
so please
it's
come
terrible.
back.
It's terrible. It's terrible in the $3. We need Jen back. Jen is of the people, and she's already selling free Jen merch in the comments. So that's good. That's a good way to close out
your Jen
t-shirts.
Get your Jen
All
t-shirts.
Right, we better shut it down. All right, The Hash. Thanks for watching us this week. I'm Zach Seward. We have Will Foxley. We have Naomi Brockwell. We have our queen, Jen Sanasi, in the comments, not pictured,
we miss her.
But here with us.
We will forever remember her.
Right.
We always had the good times.
It's been a strong week. We'll be back on Monday to get you going on the crypto news, and we hope you all have a very nice weekend. Thanks for sticking with us. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.